Download the RadioFX app on your smartphone, and you can do more than listen. You can interact with the host, find us on social media, even call the station directly from the app. Just search RadioFX in your phone's app store, install the app, and then search WNYO. We'll be right there. It's like having your favorite radio station on speed dial, except you can't accidentally butt dial us, which we appreciate. As always, thanks for listening, and may the Laker Radio always be your way.
What is up, guys? You are listening to 88.9 FM WNYO, Oswego, New York, Laker Radio, your way. One of my guests just did something weird, and I don't know what it was. I looked out of the corner of my eye. Kyle, what did Brett just do?
I honestly don't know.
Okay, whatever. Hey, we are System Update. This is the only show on WNYO about video games, and this is Ethan.
And this is Kyle.
And before we jump on into it, we do have several guests today, which is nice. Before we jump on in before our first commercial break, we're going to talk about the games that came out this week. What we got this week, Kyle? I don't think there's a ton, but we got a decent amount.
Oh, Assassin's Creed Odyssey's coming out. Or, Did it come out already? Yeah, it came out, I guess. Sorry,
we're super accurate, dude.
I can't read.
That's fine.
Yeah, so I guess Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out yesterday.
Okay.
And I really don't care about it.
I never been that interested in Assassin's Creed.
This one looks kind of fun, though. Like, it's been a while since I've played one, but...
Well, it's like, doesn't it do a Greek thing or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
I mean...
that one grabs my attention a little bit more. I've heard, like, mixed about Assassin's Creed. Like, I hear some of them are really good, others are, like, a little more boring. But, yeah, I see that Mega Man 11 came out. Ooh.
Oh,
only
yeah,
I
look
care.
at that.
You're like, oh, yeah.
Look at that.
I love Mega Man.
Yeah, I mean,
I've only played a couple of them, though.
I think we talked about it last week. I don't really care that much for it.
Yeah, it's they're real good. They do vary. I've only played a couple of them in the series, just kind of randomly. I love 2. I like 3. I love 9. You know, it's just, like, I'm all over the place, you know. But 11 looks cool. Oh shoot! Oh, it's not out yet. Disgaea 1 Complete is coming out. Do you care about that?
No.
Oh my god, I'm the king of caramel games no one here cares about.
Literally.
It's a JRPG that I always wanted to get into, but never could find like an original copy of it. It was like a PS2 game.
Yeah.
And they're remastering the first one on the PS4, so that looks cool. But that's not out yet. I jumped the gun on that one.
It's fine. We both can't read it. No worries.
I never can read. It wasn't that funny.
Shut up.
What else we got? We got Astrobot.
Cool, dude. I don't even know what that is. Astrobot. Yeah, I think it's a. What is that? Is a.
It looks like a VR game.
It's a VR game.
It's a VR game.
Yeah. That's kind of it. It doesn't really look like anything else.
Well, there's 2 more that aren't on that list that I was going to add.
Go for it.
We got a spiritual successor to Oh my god. Here, I'm gonna throw Brett on the mic. Brett, you there?
Yeah, what's up?
What's that marble game called that we were just talking
Marble Blast
about?
Ultra. It's actually a really fun platformer that came out like for the 360 and the PS3.
Well, the spiritual successor to it, I think it's the same director of the game. It's not like it's not like a direct sequel. Not that it matters. This isn't lore heavy.
It's a great game.
You want the marble lore?
I would love that.
Well, there is a marble game. There's a sequel to that called Marble It Up that came out on the Switch like last weekend. That looks awesome, Brett. That looks like it's right up your alley.
I haven't seen any footage of it, but I'm gonna do it immediately after we go to a commercial break.
It just looks fun. There's it kind of looks like a little bit like Monkey Ball, like as far as like there's like longer levels, but there's sometimes just like all right, 10 seconds, go quick, do it.
Ooh, I like that. I like
that kind of stuff. So that sounds fun.
Rapid fire.
Nice. Oh my god, there's another one I was gonna bring up. I'm freaking out. Dragon Ball Z Fighters or Dragon Ball Fighter Z. What's the actual name of that?
Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
You know what? I'm gonna throw Nick on too. Okay, I was gonna wait till after the break, but you know, what's up, Nick?
Hey everyone.
Yeah, we're doing this intro a little different than normal.
It's fine.
I've had a long day and just kind of, I'm just kind of doing the show. However, tonight,
it's a chill kind of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dragon Ball Fighter Z came out, and I actually do kind of want that because it looked pretty interesting. But like, I'm also not gonna buy that because it's gonna be like $60.
Well, did you already? You never bought a copy of like the PS4 or anything?
No, I've never had it, and I want to get it eventually, but not right now. It's on the lower end of my priority list.
Didn't that game already come out?
It did. No.
Yeah,
Okay, let me clarify. It got a Switch release. This
semester.
It was this semester. I meant to say last week.
They ported it last September 28th.
Neither was I, and I was talking. What'd you say?
They ported it to the Switch.
Yeah, they did. It's it's a game I want to get into because I played a little bit of it and it was really cool. And like, I'm not a huge Dragon Ball fan. I used to be. I like the original Dragon Ball. I don't really like Z that much, But like as a fighting game, it's just like cool characters fighting each other. So and it's apparently really well made.
Yeah,
Did
it
either
looks
of you
like
two play it?
I played it quite a bit actually. My brother's got it. It's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun fighting game. If you like Marvel vs. Capcom, it plays like that a little bit, where they do like a lot of it's based off like the 3v3.
Yeah.
Switching out. It's fun though.
I'm a sucker for any kind of game like that has a bunch of weird like a bit like big hodgepodge of characters. Like you think I would have gotten Marvel vs. Capcom by now. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I do love Tatsunoko vs. Capcom for the Wii. It's like a little. It's less fast than Marvel vs. Capcom. It's like a little slower paced, but like I don't know. It's great. It is a super underrated Wii game. You're spelling it wrong. You're typing it in right now. You're spelling it super wrong.
It's fine.
Well, anyway, you wrote versus Capcom. Versus Capcom.
Stop, it's
Tetsunuko versus.
I've literally never
Tanuki
heard of
versus
this.
Capcom.
What is this?
It's great. It's anyway. I don't know any of the characters in it, but like my point is like with Dragon Ball Z, I'm not super into Dragon Ball Z, but I would still enjoy it even though I don't like know it backwards and forwards. So I've been meaning to get into that. I'd probably really like it. It's just kind of like me, kind of like you. It's a little lower on my priority list. There's a bunch of other stuff I want to play.
Yeah.
But it's cool that it's on the Switch.
I'm
then go.
So I'm glad that it came out. I'm glad for the Switch support.
Mm-hmm. I'm very happy that so much stuff is coming out on the Switch. And then before we jump on to our first break, before we jump into like an actual like topic, the Fist of the North Star game came out. More anime. You lit up just now, Brett.
Is that really what it's called?
You don't know about Fist of the North Star?
Wait.
That is a classic anime from the 80s.
I even know about that guy.
That's like the original Omae wa mo shinderu.
I've literally.
It
the original.
Yeah, no, like it really is. I never watched it, but like it looks like I'd like it.
That's certainly.
Yeah, no,
I've
it's
never
got
heard of that.
the. I think it's a fighting game, which would that would track. I would hope it's a fighting game. Yeah, no, that's out now. I again not super familiar, but if you're a Fist of the North Star fan, apparently it's pretty good. It's been getting a lot of like hype among that like fan base. So yeah, those are all the games that are out this week, and Nick is messing with the headphones again.
Nick just like smelt his headphones or something.
Doing like a telephone thing, like an old.
It doesn't matter.
It's a
it really
goof,
doesn't.
It's hard to describe. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. You are listening to 88.9 FM, WNYO, Oswego, New York, Laker Radio, your way. Come back for some system update. Oh, wait a minute. I hit the wrong button. Jeez. What's up, guys? We are back. You are listening to 88.9 FM, WNYO, Oswego, New York, Laker Radio, your way. You're listening to System Update. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Kyle.
And then we also got two guests. Introduce yourselves again, guys.
Hey, it's Brett.
Hey, it's Brett. And
Hi, it's Nick.
Hey, it's Nick. I'm sorry. I don't know why I repeated both of you.
Just to make sure they got it.
It's been a weird day. So, something I would want to talk about. One of the topics we were like, yes?
I don't know.
One of the topics we were kicking around was like, I was having a conversation with some friends back home that really stood out to me. Like, what really, it's kind of basic, but like, what makes a good DLC in a game? And I know that all of you have specific ones you like and dislike. So, like, what do you got? What we can go around. Like, what do you think makes a good DLC in a game?
Brett.
Okay, so I think my specific criteria for a necessary DLC is something that shouldn't be, that's something that feels like it shouldn't have been at launch. So like when I see like a DLC that's just like players, like character skins or like assorted weapons for a game, I immediately think this was scrapped content to make $5 extra, and I do not like that.
A lot of games do that too.
Yeah,
and that really bothers me.
It's really unfortunate that that's just kind of like the scavenger mindset of these game companies are like, oh, we gotta get them $5 extra. Well,
it's funny because I kind of fell off of, like I've mentioned a few times in the past, I fell off of games for a while. So whenever I would hear about DLC, I would immediately equate it to that kind of DLC because that was just like so popular and present.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's like it's still the large majority of the DLCs that are out today. However, there are a lot of really good ones.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. There are a lot of amazing ones.
Just
like I feel like the best ones are they add something completely different to the game and are like worth like
Didn't Bloodborne do that pretty well?
Bloodborne and Dark Souls both do that.
FromSoft DLCs have been the notoriously good.
They're phenomenal. They add more to the story. They're by themselves like their own game essentially. Almost. I mean, like it's a build up of what you've already done in the game, but like they're so good self-contained stories and experiences. I played through all of the Dark Souls 3. I know like that's like 2 years old now, but I played through all of the Dark Souls 3 DLC over the summer, and it was some of like the best gameplay I've ever had. You know,
There's a lot of memorable fights in there. You can tell that they tried to end the series with like with a bang, just with the DLC. They put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, and it's when there's that kind of thought process that goes in that it needs to be its own, like, it can't just be throwing extra stuff into the game. You know, who cares? Don't pepper stuff in. Give me something completely different. You're a big fan of The Witcher. Doesn't Witcher 3 do that a lot?
The Witcher 3, it's almost cheating mentioning The Witcher 3's DLC because the first one, Hearts of Stone, it brings in 20 hours of story gameplay. 20 more hours of story, which
it's not already a long game.
It's already pushing a 100-hour game. The first DLC adds another 20 hours to it. And then the second DLC, Blood and Wine, which is, to me personally, better than the main story of the game.
Is that about vampires?
Yes, it's about vampires, which is, vampires are kind of overdone now, but man. These aren't your normal vampires. These are monster vampires. The point is, it's very good, and it adds another 60 hours of gameplay.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not joking.
That's even better than the Dark Souls.
Blood and Wine. It was sold at a $25 price point and could have been a full AAA game by like Ubisoft or something like that.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. That's a game I've been meaning to get back to. As I started it a while ago, and then just never cared. And I would probably like it a lot more now because my tastes have changed since it came out.
I have never played it, and I really wanna.
It's a very nice payoff if you invest the time.
Somebody lend it to me.
No.
You're looking at him.
I have to beat it first. I've had it for 3 years. Have not beat it.
Nick, you got any? That took a second to hit me. Nick, you got any DLC that like you think like stands out as like really good compared to like all the other garbage that's out there?
Well, piggybacking off of what you guys said, the Undead Nightmare DLC for Red Dead Redemption is like really good.
Isn't that like? Doesn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't played them, but I know of them, and I'm really excited for 2 because 2 looks like a really great game. Isn't 1 just? It doesn't really have any fantasy or anything. It's just it's just like a deconstruction of the West.
Yeah, it's a really good game with a really good story.
The story looks fantastic, but
the Undead Nightmare is literally just that, but also there's zombies in it, and you like ride around and shoot zombies, and it's like there's a whole. It's not just that there's zombies; it's that there's like the entire world is different, like. There's a whole bunch of new quests. There's like the same characters from the original story, but like they're all doing different stuff.
Are you in like a new place?
No, it's the same place, but just it looks different. And like there's like little like settlements of like I don't know if they're settlements. There's lots of little camps where like people fight off zombies. And then one of my favorite things about that is that it's got a whole bunch of other like mythical creatures that it adds to the game. So there's like the 4 horses of the apocalypse that you can tame.
Oh, I heard about that.
There's zombie horses. There's
Chupacabras in it.
Chupacabras.
That's great. Well, I love like
Bigfoot. There's a whole like awesome Bigfoot like mission, which is like.
I know that sounds goofy, but like,
no, it's not goofy.
No, because like cryptozoology is super interesting anyway. So like just having it just kind of thrown in there, that's nice.
So and like the Bigfoot mission is like actually sad because like
I remember that.
You remember that? So like basically the premise is like this guy hires you to like go kill these Bigfoot, and it turns out like so you kill like a whole bunch of Bigfoot, and it turns out like you shoot the last one, and he like starts talking to you, and it turns out the Bigfoot are like just totally like intelligent. And like this is the last of his kind, and he's just like, oh, just kill me now. There's nothing left for me to live for. And then you just kill the last Bigfoot, then you feel awful.
Poor Bigfoot.
See, it's that kind of stuff that I'm talking about that like makes like a good like that alone was a great story.
Yeah.
And it enthralled you as opposed to just like you
said,
Brett, like here's a sword, here's a weapon,
yeah, and it only cost like
outfit.
$20, and that was not even like a 15th of what the whole content of that was. But that leads me into my next point, because that was by Rockstar, who used to be the king of doing single-player DLC. I was talking to Kyle about it as we were walking over. They haven't released single-player DLC for GTA 5, which they said they would at launch 5 years ago.
Yeah, oh my god, that game's 5 years old now.
No, but they re-released it twice. Don't worry.
Yeah, and they shifted.
Yeah, that's single-player DLC, right?
Yeah, they re-released it a bunch of times. That's DLC.
Just like Skyrim.
They took all their developers that were probably working at least. So they realized that the online was making them so much money, so they put all of their developers on making stuff for online, and the online stuff you can't access in single player unless you have a computer with mods. And then they tried to stop people from doing that. So if you like load in a DLC like car, it'll like automatically despawn unless you have another mod to stop it from doing that.
That's
It's
confusing.
ridiculous.
Like it sounds like they don't know what they want.
No, they know what they want. They want you to spend money on their shark cards to buy in-game currency to buy those things in multiplayer, because they have like a Batmobile thing. That's probably like millions of in-game dollars.
See, I never touch any games that deal with in-game currency or anything like that, or any kind of like that side of multiplayer. So like a lot of that was like flying over my head. I was like, what? Like,
But like, I played the online part for like a little while after it came out, and like I had a good amount of fun. But like as you get to a certain point, it's just so grindy. The only way I managed to like buy like a house in that game is there was like a glitch where you could get like infinite money, and I just did that.
if you're like, okay, well the saving grace, if you glitch it, you can keep going.
Wait,
like that.
there's a glitch. When it first came out, I played the online for a bit, and I literally would join. I would make my own private server, and it would just be me in there. And then I would do like parachuting and like race car missions because I would be the only one, and it would be easy. And I would just make a bunch. I'd make like $4,000, like a per event thing, and I would just rack up money that way.
The way it, like the glitch, how the glitch worked is that you would sell a car and then it would respawn, so you could keep selling the same car over and over. That was awesome. It wasn't really awesome.
I mean, it's a car glitch. That's,
Dude,
look, hold
that
on.
was rad. That was the best part, dude.
Guys. Look, I must admit, I have fallen prey to really bad DLC. I've definitely bought like Rocket League, the Rocket League DLC, where it's just like car cosmetics. I've literally bought the Batmobile.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, it's the Batmobile.
It's the Batmobile, but I've also bought in the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
That's still pretty cool.
I actually didn't know that stuff was in that.
Yeah, I definitely paid like $2 for each of those.
Yeah, like that kind of leads me to another question that I had. And we can go back to talking about other DLCs we've played or care about. But like, I do think sometimes like that kind of integrated DLC can work. Like if they add little what's an example? Night in the Woods, which is one of my favorite games of last year. That was like a great story game by itself. But they added a mode called Weird Autumn, where not a mode, but like it basically add extra story stuff. Like if you did a second playthrough, more like options would come up sometimes, but like it wasn't just random like for the sake of being DLC. It actually like it doesn't change the ending or anything, but it gives a lot of more like meaning to certain parts because that game is all story. It's a good game. It's not like just like a walking simulator. Well, it kind of is, but it's point is it's really good. Everything you do in like Weird Autumn or whatever means something to the story. It means something to the characters. Mm-hmm. It's like they just added more good. You know, it wasn't just garbage. It wasn't. So have you played like anything that integrated like it like that well? Would you say or no?
So I actually have to go back to Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
So
we always do.
Dark Souls 2, the first DLC they released for it, Scholar of the First Sin.
Mm-hmm.
It was,
I have that. I haven't played it though.
It presented itself as like another single player expansion with new bosses to fight and such, and it's actually a fantastic DLC. The areas in that are better than the areas in the main game. But the main thing it added is that every single consecutive new game playthrough, it changes the arrangement of the enemies. It adds new enemies. It changes the arrangement of the chests.
Only in the Scholar of the First Sin expansion, or like the whole game?
No, downloading Scholar of the First Sin expansion will immediately update the game to you're familiar with it. Where like Dark Souls 3, you get a new game plus.
Yeah, I love 3 and 1. I just
the
haven't
enemies
played 2
just
yet.
get harder.
Yeah.
There's no.
No, it's just I know I can play. Yeah, I can run through 3 right now. Yeah.
Dark Souls 2, it changes the placement of the enemies. So like in an area where you walk in a door and there's no one in there, and there potentially they could have added like a trap or 5 enemies that will like jump you when you walk.
Okay,
in.
that's cool.
And it changes
that's exactly
every
what I'm
single
asking,
playthrough too. So it actually adds a lot of replay value to the game. And they didn't even advertise that when they first released the DLC. They're just like, yeah, we'll just add that.
It's just it's nice that it's just they kind of threw that in like
Yeah.
nice little you can pepper things in like that.
Welcome
and it
changes.
works. What?
It's a welcome change.
Oh, I thought you were welcoming somebody.
No, who would I be welcoming?
Yeah. Welcome change. Well, we do have a shadower. I'm sorry. What's your name? Paul. What's up, Paul? Shout out to Paul. Paul's on here.
Yeah, Paul is.
Kyle was
good.
not saying hi to Paul. He was just. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just misheard.
Sorry.
Okay, you looked up Night in the Woods over here just to have like
I was wondering
reference
what you're
to
talking about.
yeah,
right?
and you got it mostly, but then you got like weird fan art over here.
Look,
It's
let's not
bugging
let's
me.
Not,
It involves feet.
Let's not dwell on the fan art. All right.
Okay, we got to jump on another break. On that note, let's go on another break. Tune back in. What's the system update? You're listening to 88.9 FM WNYO, Oswego, New York, Laker Radio, your way. What's up, guys? You're listening to 88.9 FM WNYO, Oswego, New York, Laker Radio, your way. You're listening to System Update, and we're back talking about DLCs and what we think are good ones, what we think are bad ones, and why what makes one good, what makes one bad. We've been talking a lot about good DLCs. Anybody got any? Anybody got? We mentioned bad ones, but we've been talking. I love Dark Souls. I will keep talking about Dark Souls. Dark Souls 3 has like the best, and I'm still meaning to play Bloodborne DLC.
That's
We
the
can't
best
keep
one.
talking about Dark Souls.
I know, that's what I'm getting at. So, does anybody have any bad ones? And our Shadower actually is about to jump on the mic because he says he's got one. What do you got? Wait, no, sorry, go for it.
Ranger Mode DLC for Metro Last Light, and Ranger Mode was just like a mode that made you and the enemy on equal grounds. However, ammo became much more scarce, a little bit more realistic, I guess, but they charged an extra price for it, and it came with like the special edition, which is kind of stupid.
Special edition of like the whole game, or special edition of that?
The whole game, and I mean, it also came. Also, if you wanted to buy it a la carte, you could, but it was just seemed sort of ridiculous to charge like $2 for an extra difficulty mode.
Yeah, that seems a little. That just seems kind of like a boring extra. It's just kind of like, he plays in. What? You're on equal ground. You said with the. Yeah, but like, yeah, that one just sounded like. I feel like I would be lying. It just kind of lies there. That doesn't really do much.
Who cares? That's pretty much I feel like the general consensus for things like that. It's just like, cool, but
Yeah, they should be free updates.
yeah, they
Yeah,
really
that's
should.
okay. In addition to Dark Souls, I always talk about Final Fantasy 15 on this podcast. I keep saying podcast too.
It's
on
a
this
radio
show. We'll do a podcast eventually on this radio show. But like that had a bunch of updates and stuff that a lot of people like games would charge as like DLC. Final Fantasy did it right. That game did a lot of things wrong, even though I like it. It did a lot of things wrong. But with the updates that were basically essential because the game came out unfinished, they just gave them to you. They didn't dance around it. They didn't like try to charge you and dress it up as something new. Like, this is the new story mode. It's like, no, that's a part of the story you forgot to write. So that was nice. But I know that there are games out there, companies out there that would just charge you money for it.
Cough, cough, Battlefront. Cough, cough.
Yo, you about to throw some shade? Let me hear it.
Star Wars Battlefront, didn't it leave? Didn't it release things that should have been in the game originally for like $30 of DLC?
Well, the season pass, because the whole story with that game is that they had to rush to finish it because Star Wars: The Force Awakens got like pushed up, so they had to finish the game quick. So they only had like the original trilogy timeline. They did. Honestly, like the DLC for that, I don't know if it was stuff that should have been in the game. Well, okay. What I'm trying to say is they didn't add everything that should have been in the game. They had a little bit of stuff that should have been in the game that they released as DLC, and then they did like Rogue One extra actual DLC stuff.
The last one's, I mean, I haven't played it. I don't know your opinion on it, but the last one actually sounds like worthy DLC. That sounds like something that should be DLC, but was it as the rest of the stuff?
Yeah, well, because
they
like released the DLC because the new movie was coming out. It was Rogue One. They were like, we're gonna release like 2 new maps and like 4 new characters or something, which was like, okay, that makes sense, but not. We have like 5 maps total in the game. Let's add like 4 more maps through DLC. That'll be fun.
It's like, just give me that in the game.
Yeah.
That's different than like, cause like with Dark Souls 3 or something, or Witcher, where they add like a whole story or something. That by itself, like, you can say the same thing. It's like, you're just adding extra stuff. You're not going to do any more of that. Well, in those cases, it's so extreme. Like, those are such self-contained pieces. Like, those are almost their own games. Another one that did that, I haven't played it yet. I haven't played the original game, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is on the Switch right now. They released a whole DLC in a similar vein where it's just like its own game, essentially.
Yeah.
The only prereq, I think you needed to beat the main game or something. I mean, I would imagine, or you had to get to a certain point. But to the point where you can actually buy a physical copy of it, which is weird, but that's a thing. So, like...
I wonder how that works.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a friend that has it. I haven't asked him yet, though.
Wait,
he likes it a lot,
Would
too.
it just be like a download? Or like, I don't know.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, not like a download, but like, would it just be like...
I think it like would go off the... I'm not even going to pretend I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't matter.
I was about to go into that. But, yeah. I haven't really played a lot of, like, horrible DLC. I just, like, know a lot about it. Brett, you got anything? You ever played a really bad one?
played a really bad one? No. Well, yes. Okay. Actually, yes. So, this earlier in the year, Far Cry 5 got released.
That had DLC.
Oh yeah, I immediately bought the season pass because the Far Cry series is one of my favorite game series.
Hold
because
on.
they're just.
Let me interrupt for you for a sec.
Oh, no.
How was that game?
Okay. So
Yeah, it looked good, but I heard very mixed on it.
Far Cry, the premise of Far Cry is it is one of those shooters that you can just turn your brain off and just blast guys with a bunch of different types of guns. And they're generally very pretty, okay? Don't expect a groundbreaking story or them to make any awesome social commentary or any, like, super cool, like...
I mean, 3 was really good.
3 was fantastic. 5 is not as good as 3, but it's better than 4.
I heard 4 was like a more
4 is a
snooze fest,
clone
right?
of 3. 4, even the main villain of 4 is trying. It's like he's trying his hardest to be Voss from 3.
He was such an interesting. Voss from Far Cry 3 was such an interesting character.
Such a well voiced character.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
oh my god! I still I quote him sometimes, and I feel like I'm like, wow, this is
it.
this is great. Far Cry 5. The story's it's pretty great. I had a lot of fun with it. I know people didn't. However, the DLCs, it has 3 expansions, which were a Vietnam War pack, Lost on Mars, where you play in Mars. That one looked cool.
Nick is making
and
some
then
faces right now. Also, you remember
a zombie one, which they advertised something similar to what Undead Nightmare should be. So everyone thought, okay, the zombie one is going to it's going to be the
like
Far
where
Cry
they
5 map,
where they
but
like bring a fantasy aspect in something that isn't fantasy,
Yeah.
but they like integrate it
well,
and make
they
it work.
take the Far Cry 5 and the entire map, which is I love the map. The rural Montana, the rural Montana area like that you play in Far Cry is really fun.
Oh, it looks awesome.
And it's gorgeous, and everyone was excited to play in that and just shoot zombies. The zombie DLC ended up being like one mission from Left 4 Dead, and it was separate from the story. So you like it's not like you join the game and like, oh, there's zombies here. No, you load a different part.
That's boring.
And
Who cares?
You're playing a different character. You're not the main character. It's just some random.
That's just like a mini
That's
game.
lame.
It is
a
a
mini
They
game.
sold you a mini game, and it goes the same for the other 3 or the other 2. The Mars one, you play like oh, you're on Mars for like an hour. You shoot a couple aliens. It's
See, the
boy.
Red Dead one sounds like it brings like some kind of fantasy element or like a new element in general, but like it doesn't just throw it at you like, oh, it's over here too. It's like, no, it worked it into the game.
Yes.
Yeah, right? You'd say that?
Yeah, absolutely. It was very good.
I mean, yeah. I played a little bit of Undead Nightmare, and it's just a lot of fun. You just go around on a horse shooting zombies.
yeah, like
Far Cry 5, I heard the criticisms I heard of it were like, it's especially because it came out in like the current political climate. It looked like it was going to try to make some kind of statement. So some people got really excited. They're like, "Ooh, is it going to have some cool things to say about like America and racism?" No. It doesn't go there. I don't personally care, but a lot of people were
Why would
ticked
you
off
want
about that.
I personally, I really don't like the notion that people were excited for it to be like, ooh, a hot new social commentary I can pay $60 for.
Yeah,
okay?
it's like, who cares?
It's just a video game about
Yeah.
shooting people. Like,
And
I mean, why? There's no need
I
for
heard that a lot of people.
Some games do it good. Like Wolfenstein 2 came out last year as well. And when did Far Cry 5? Was that this year?
That was early 2018.
Oh, that's
yeah.
weird.
Was
Well,
it really?
Well,
Yeah, it came out in March.
Wolfenstein had Wolfenstein 2 had some like undertone, not just undertones, but like it actually did deal with some like political issues
Yeah.
and social issues. But like, it wasn't like,
But, like,
it
that-
didn't seem forced or anything.
That makes sense. This was Far
this
Cry
is Far
5
Cry.
was definitely
Far Cry's-
advertised as just like a.
Yeah.
I think it was like, it takes place
yeah.
in America, so we're gonna get crazy. It's like, no, it takes place in
No.
America, whatever. Big deal.
Especially the main problem I heard is that because it takes place in Montana, which is primarily a red state. They're expecting like, ooh, there's going to be a lot of edgy characters that are Republican, and then when they get in the game and they realize like, oh, they're not portraying
It's just about
Republicans
a-
as monsters. They're just people.
Yeah, isn't it just like about a cult?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cult?
There's
Like, I'm okay. I don't care. Like, that's
Yeah.
fine. I had a friend, our friend, one of our friends, he was more on the side where he was getting annoyed by that, especially coming off of Wolfenstein 2, which did a really good job of having like social issues and stuff being talked about in America. So he was really disappointed, and we agree on a lot of things, but every time he would try to tell me that whole argument, not like he would try to explain why he was upset, I was just like, It's Far Cry. Who cares? Like, I don't know. I'm not even a Far Cry fan. I don't really care that much. It's just like, that's a game.
You should play Far Cry 3.
Far Cry 3 is fantastic, Ethan. They just they ported it to PS4.
Ooh.
Wait, did they really?
They did, and that's the main reason why I bought the season pass, because it gave me that for free.
Oh,
I mean, that's not really for free if you bought.
Shut
Well,
up,
no,
kid.
because it comes.
Shut up. Like, it comes with the DLC too.
Yeah.
Shut up. Let me try to justify this purchase.
No, yeah, I feel for you there. Yeah. No, I wanted to play Far Cry, and just never got around to it. Like
Play
5,
3.
but I've also just. Yeah, they came out at a time when I was kind of off of games, so I want to get back to those sometimes. I hear the first 2 aren't that great. I heard it get better at 3.
The second one is ruthless. The second one.
What do you mean ruthless?
You have your gun can jam like mid gunfight,
Yeah.
and you have to. There's an
Like
animation where
tripping?
you stop. You have malaria, so occasionally you will be struck with malaria sickness, and you need to find medicine. So like an example will be like you're fighting. Your gun jams, and then you die from malaria, and no one's even shooting at you.
Oh my god, our boy wants to get on real quick, yeah.
Also, like in Far Cry 2, if you're shooting a rocket launcher like an RPG, the back blast, like out from the back, might start a fire. So you might
Oh
be
my
standing in a
God.
grassy hill, shoot an RPG at an enemy, and then you start burning.
See, that's all of that is up there with another topic that I think is interesting, where like it's cool if a game tries to be like realistic to a point and incorporate that into its gameplay and make it like kind of intrinsically important to that game. It's cool on paper, but then it happens and it gets annoying. Like in that, it's like, oh well, in real life the gun might jam, and when you think that, you're like, oh, now the game will be more realistic and it might be a little more fun now. Oh, there's that bit of edge to it. But then it happens and it's like, well, this isn't a game anymore.
Yeah,
Like I imagine that's annoying.
there's certain things like Battlefield has bullet drop.
Oh my
And, like,
god.
That makes sense because it takes more of like a process to like actually shoot someone
Yeah.
rather than just dead center, no, like 3,000 distance is out. I can't think of it. I couldn't think of a. I couldn't think of
30,000 distance is out.
the correct unit that would be far.
Meters?
Dude,
Anything?
I don't know, man.
And
Give-
any word would have worked.
You know what I'm trying to say though? Like, you know, games
Oh, yeah.
trying to be realistic and then it backfires, you know. This is a new title. It's fine. Go. You got one?
That's why I love Far Cry, because like they're like, hey, there's animals in the game, but then they have you get attacked by grizzly bears every 10 seconds. It is funny. Like, you'll be doing the stupid fishing mini game, and like you can't reel in one bass because every 10 seconds you get attacked by a mountain lion.
I think
It's just funny.
I'm pretty sure I walked into our friend Eric playing it and did that exactly that happened, and he was just like, "Oh, this happens, by the way."
Alligators in Far Cry 3 were just
That was terrifying.
it was so scary. I would just be in the water and then just like a quick time event, and I'm like, what's happening?
It's a jump scare. It's awesome.
Oh, it's actually just scary
It
though,
is.
but it's really cool.
The screen starts spinning. The alligators like it drags you underwater.
God, it sounds
it makes a
horrible.
loud noise.
And then-
it yells at you.
And then you're like, oh, I'm
Yells at
getting
you.
attacked by an alligator. Like this is my life now.
I want to throw one more DLC thing real quick before we jump on another break, and then we can just like talk about whatever after that. I heard Wolfenstein 2. I just keep talking about that game, and I love that game. That was one of my favorites of last year. Apparently, DLC just kind of sucks because it also tried to do the fantasy type thing we were just talking about, and it didn't integrate it. Like it's kind of like what you said for Far Cry. It was just like another area. It's like, oh, go fight some zombies, and it's like that wasn't in the story anywhere. If you don't just kind of work it into what's already there, then it's just gonna stack out like a sore thumb and just look stupid. Like, oh, it's a Left 4 Dead level now. Like, okay.
I see. Like it's disappointing because Far Cry 3 had a DLC that Blood Dragon. It incorporated.
Blood Dragon was awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't actually played that yet. I really need to.
Wait, what game was this for?
Far Cry Blood.
3.
Oh,
They
sorry.
released like
Far Cry Blood.
They released like an
Blood Dragon.
80s themed like RoboCop DLC.
It's so cool. Like you fight like T-Rexes and it's all like neon and everything.
was neon, and it was just amazing. Like, you end up getting this one weapon called the Kill Star, and it is just like a laser that destroys everything.
Yeah, it's
Is that kind
very
of stuff
fun.
in like the core game, or was
No,
this is another example of just like it integrated that weird different
Yeah.
genre, but like it just kind of it worked it with what was already there.
It was, yeah, it's very cool.
Isn't it a separate entity though?
It is.
It is a separate thing. Well, same thing. Undead Nightmare is also a separate game itself.
Yeah, it is.
It is. 'Cause
Yeah, it
you
is.
You have to load it specifically. for
Yes,
the
you're
main
right.
game.
But I'm pretty sure you can just buy Undead Nightmare.
You can. They sold it on disc.
Yeah.
Oh, so Xenoblade Chronicles 2 wasn't the first
No,
guy
no,
on the
no,
map
no.
to do this. Wasn't
No.
big? It's not the big man on campus. Everyone's saying.
No.
Okay. Oh wait, no, one more.
Oh, wow.
I heard Breath of the Wild DLC was great, right? I haven't played it yet.
Like,
Wait, what?
it literally didn't occur to me that the Xenoblade Chronicle 2 would just be a separate entity from the main game, but just continue with like a story. I don't know why I thought like, oh, it's gonna continue on from like the main game.
It's actually what's cool. It's a prequel. The Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC is the prequel to it.
Okay,
Which I
that
think
makes
is
sense.
pretty
Then
cool.
that
just
obviously.
be Xenoblade Chronicles 1.
No, apparently, have you played them?
No.
No, apparently no. Like it's like it apparently it's got some deep lore to it. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have a huge interest in them, but I think they're kind of cool. They're just like I don't have an interest in playing them right now.
I feel like they'd just be fun to play if I had.
I hated the one on the Wii U. The one on the Wii U sucks. Chronicles X, it's so boring. I was bored to tears.
I never played it.
Yo, what did you like about the Breath of the Wild DLC? Because that's like my second favorite game of last year, but I never played the DLC.
The fact that there were two of them and it was $20 for both of
that's
them
great.
is really nice because it added like a decent chunk of content, and for a $20 price point, I mean, there's like a lot of DLC is like ridiculously priced, and it's like, why? I'm not getting like my money's worth, but I felt like with the Breath of the Wild DLC, you really got that. And Brett, are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to say something?
No, continue.
Brett looks like a
You kind of look like you're
like,
excited for something.
I just
you're about to be taken out for a walk.
You just reminded me by talking about fair price points of another horrible DLC. Sorry to just
No, I'm completely
derail
invested
this.
now.
You ever played Destiny?
I have not.
Good. Well, they released it.
I'm super not interested in
Yeah,
those.
no.
It looks pretty.
Neither am I. As someone that was a huge Halo fan, I hate Destiny. But anyways, they released their first DLC for Destiny 2 at $50. The DLC expansion is $50. And guess what? Hold on now. Guess what? After they released the first DLC called The Taken King, they restricted players who already owned the game from certain game modes until you bought the DLC. So they actually took away content from the base game.
God.
You don't did not give it back until you bought the DLC because they decided, hey, it's a good idea to completely rework this entire part of the game, and we're just going to throw the other way out. Hey, if you don't want the DLC, screw you. You got to buy it, or you can't play this part of the game anymore.
That's like they're playing
That's
keep away
ridiculous.
with you. Like
Yeah.
they picked up the game, they're holding it above your head where you can't reach it.
No,
Like,
it's
yeah, you
mine.
gotta go,
and they're
it's
charging
mine
you
now.
for almost the price of another game.
You gotta pay for it. Oh my god,
That's ridiculous.
I didn't know it was that.
I
expensive.
honestly didn't know that. That's awful.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta jump on a quick commercial break right quick, and then we'll come back and just talk about whatever. You're listening to 88.9 FM WNYO Oswego. What? 88.9 FM Oswego, New York. Laker Radio, your way. You're listening to System Update, and we will be right back. What's up, guys? You're listening to 88.9 FM WNYO Oswego, New York. Laker Radio, your way, and you're listening to System Update. Brett is mocking me right now, and I'm annoyed because I've had a long day, and not actually annoyed. And yeah, you're listening with Ethan
And Kyle.
And Brett.
And Kyle.
All right.
Thanks, Nick.
I ran out of steam talking about DLCs. So I was thinking there's a lot of games in 2018 that I have not gotten to. I've only played God of War, and there's like just 10 others I want to play. So what's your guys' 2018 looking like?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
You guys both beat it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
it
That's the
was
next
so
AAA game I'm
good.
buying. I need to pick that up. That looks fantastic. That looks like it does everything I want in a game.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That's my favorite game that's come out in the past like 2 years.
yeah,
Oh my
probably.
God.
It's so good.
What is this? It's the best game of this year for you? Wait,
Yes,
did you play anything else?
absolutely.
You beat God of War.
I beat
as
God of
well,
War.
which
Beat
I'm-
Far Cry 5. I don't know what else came out.
Did
this
you like
year.
Far Cry 5 all the way through?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like I know
I did.
we started talking about the bad parts, but did you
No,
like it as a whole?
It was a very fun game to play. There was a really weird glitch that was at launch because I beat it in the first 2 days. So the glitch was that some missions start like you're just walking through like the wilderness and like a guy will grab you and the mission starts. But the glitch was it didn't show the cutscene of the guy grabbing you. So I would be driving. Will was in the room. I was driving a car,
Will.
and all of a sudden the screen turned black, and then the next shot is a guy screaming at
That
me,
is
and I'm
so
tied to a
funny.
chair. Me and Will were laughing for like 10 minutes.
That is an
it
art.
was so funny.
That sounds like an art film. It sounds
It
like
was
David.
so funny.
That sounds like a David Lynch movie, dude.
Oh my
Oh, that's
god.
beautiful.
That's great. But yeah, I'm getting a note real quick. Thank you. Yada yada. Okay, awesome. Anyway, sorry, I was confused. That game looks cool.
Yeah, it was a fun game.
I
yeah,
want to play.
Spider-Man.
You know what I want to
Hold
play?
on.
Well, I want to play Spider-Man.
Hold
Yes.
on, hold on. Brett, can you tell me how what's the word? How you felt at the end of
Soul
Spider-Man?
crushing. Yeah,
I don't own spoily.
I'm
We're
not
not gonna
spoiling
spoil
it.
it,
I'm
but
not
just-
spoiling it.
Just how emotional did you get?
All right.
Because I was very not okay.
This game, I'm really glad that my roommate didn't walk in the room when I beat this because I had a
Shout
box
out
of
to Chris.
tissues next to me and I used like 6 of them.
Oh heck yeah!
I was sobbing during. I usually skip credits to games immediately. I had to use the credits to just
No, you gotta
to
just-
cry it out.
You had to drink it in.
Oh, that was such a good ending.
Oh my god, I
It was
can't. I
so
can't.
good.
Okay,
we
Kyle,
won't
was it
spoil
better
it,
than
but-
Nier Automata?
Yes,
Okay.
it was. Nier Automata is a fantastic game, but it was definitely better.
What else came out this year?
I don't know.
Unless you had more to say about Spider-Man.
Nah.
No,
I
So
want
I
to play. Oh
wait,
yeah,
what's up?
what's up?
we're gonna talk about Red Dead Redemption 2. We have to.
Oh yeah, it's
Alright,
coming
yeah,
out. Yeah. I haven't. I mean, I missed out on Red Dead Redemption 1 back in the day, but 2 looks amazing.
So they just released a new trailer for it. Looks awesome. Like every single
What's up, guys? Game looks great.
every single like piece of information they keep releasing for this game has me more and more hyped. Apparently, the entire map from the first game is going to be part of the second game.
That's
Whoa, are you
crazy.
serious?
Yeah, so
What?
if you look, they've been like compiling based on like leaks this map of the map of the game, and you look at it, and they just pretty much, I think, like a Dutch like news agency, like gaming website, just recently like confirmed that the map from the first game is in it, and like in the most recent trailer, you can actually see in the background, you can line it up with Armadillo, the town from the first game.
No way.
So yeah, so there's the whole first map, and then there's an entire another map on top of it over there. And
Wait, so how big is, unless you mentioned it, I just got confused. How big is so it's the whole map of the first game is in the
Yes.
second one. How much more map do we have?
It's
then? How, so there's that one, and then what's
it's
the whole
more
map?
the other. So there's the first map, and then the new map is like more than, I'd say, like 2 times bigger than the old map.
That's awesome.
So it's going to be huge.
They better fill it with something interesting.
They
Yeah, like take a lesson from Breath of the Wild. Like that's the biggest game I think I've played, and
well, that's
that one did it perfectly.
That's the thing they've been talking about, is that they have this new system where they have like people and like families and stuff, and if you like kill some guy, his like wife will like get angry at you if you find her, and they'll hire like
Alright.
bounty hunters to come kill you.
That's awesome.
pretty
Wait,
interesting.
so that will trigger that much stuff, and like you could just like be walking and then get attacked by
Yeah.
something from
Yeah.
one thing you did back in
Yeah.
the day. That's great. I love
and
that.
then they have this new interaction thing where like it's sort of like in Zelda. If you hold like the left trigger, it'll like target someone, and then you have the interactions. Like you can talk to people and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. It just looks very, very cool.
Yeah, so you can talk to every single NPC in the game. There's options to like you can rob them on site.
Oh my god.
You can ask them to join like your posse or whatever.
I'm excited about, as somebody who never played the first one, I'm super excited about this. Like, this looks great. Everything about this looks, I don't have much to say about it because I haven't played it yet, obviously. It looks like my cup of tea. I'm very excited for it. Is it still confirmed to look better on the, I mean, I'm getting it on the PS4, because that's what I have. Is it still confirmed to look better on the Xbox, or do we not know yet?
The only thing that is going to look better is that on the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, it's going to be in 4K. So
Yeah, and standard PS4 doesn't have that, so we are out of luck.
I don't care that much.
Yeah.
It's nice, but like I'm not a huge stickler for that. As long as it doesn't look like garbage.
I just wish I had more storage.
Get it? Okay, Kyle doesn't have an external hard drive.
well, so
Need
so
to get one.
I just haven't had the money.
so the thing.
No, I get you.
Red Dead Redemption 2, I think I read it's going to be, for download, is 105 gigabytes.
Yeah, Kyle, that's a fifth of your hard drive.
Yeah,
It's just
literally.
one game.
So
Isn't Doom like that big
Doom
or
is
something?
89 gigabytes for no reason.
Doom is
Absolutely
amazing.
No reason.
Oh, yo, that's what that's not this year, but Doom Eternal looks amazing.
You get
The
a
sequel.
sword now.
You got a sword. Everything is on like Earth, and it's like you're in crazy buildings. Like there's different, such a little thing, but there's different lighting because Doom takes place in Mars and Hell. Doom Eternal is going to be like on Earth a bunch of times. So
That's the Doom that I
it's
played.
just going to look different, and I'm super excited.
I played that Doom. I hope there's an Easter egg in it. There's one random room where there's a bathroom and you go in.
Wait, in Doom 2016?
No. The game that Doom Eternal's modeled after. I think it's Doom 2, the one we're on Earth.
It references. I think it's either 2 or 3. It references.
There's a part of Doom 2 where there's a bathroom and you walk in and there's a bunch of demons in one stall, and if you open it, like 10 of them run out. And I've just
I hope that's in it.
I just want that to be in it. That's my only opinion about the game. Swords and bathrooms.
Oh
Swords
my god,
and bathrooms.
No, that looks amazing. I'm super excited for that because Doom 2016 was like it's one of my favorite games on my PS4. I know it's on like every console, but like for me, it's one of my favorite games on that system, like the modern systems. It plays like a dream. Some of the best controlling. Soundtrack is amazing.
Oh my god, rip and tear.
That, what's his name? Mick Gordon, right? Is the composer?
I don't know.
He is. It's Mick Gordon. Mick Gordon is like amazing. He's everything he does is so well produced and stuff. All right. Well, on that note, we gotta go. Kyle, you want to give us a little outro?
Sure. This has been System Update on 88.9 WNYO Oswego, New York, Laker Radio, your way. Come back next week, Wednesday at 9 p.m., and we'll see you there.
Bye.